Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Visually Speaking. I am Kyle Martin, and today my guest is
Carldine.
Hey Carldine, how you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Thank you for coming by today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited for today's conversation.
And we're excited to have you for today's conversation. Which today's conversation is actually going to be about you. And not only just you, but also what you do with Deany Beauty and something that you have shared with us about yourself. So, like I said before, yeah, we call it an interview, but it's just a nice, cool, sit-down conversation, casual chit-chat. Whatever you tell me, I may ask you some back on top of some things I may already have prepared.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm excited. I was born ready.
Let's do this.
Yes.
I like that. I like that. So let's start off with telling our viewers just a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a native of Brockton, Massachusetts. I'm not from the Triangle area.
Okay.
But I moved to the Triangle area about 4 years ago. I'm the youngest of three.
You a baby.
I am, but just recently, my dad and my stepmom adopted a girl. So she's like 13 now. So I do have a little sister now as well.
Nice.
What else? I went to school for social work and a minor in psychology. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me. But I'm ready for you to ask more questions so I can expand a little bit more. That's like the first things that come to mind.
Okay. So you went to school for social work.
Mm-hmm.
Expand on that a little bit. Why, or what made you decide to jump into the field of social work?
So a lot of reasons. So and backtracking, I had a lot of ideas in mind. I was thinking about being a dietitian, a fashion designer. So there was just so many, thoughts that came to mind. But really kind of solidified social work was I really want to give back to my community.
Mm-hmm.
I also was just feeling like it just made sense at that time. And so, yeah, in a nutshell.
So now that you do social work and based off what I've learned that you also do a bit of community service, you also help with not fostering, but also mentoring youth, specifically young women. Can you extrapolate a little bit more on that? Share what got you to that point where you felt like this is what I should do?
As far as giving back to my community,
and the route that you picked as well.
So I guess that's a long answer. So backtracking in social work classes, a lot of my professors would be like, okay, this is a very broad field. So you could either be a therapist, you could work at a prison. There's so many settings you can work at, right?
For real,
and so they would always specify that there's a micro level, a meso level, and a macro level. And macro is more of that community aspect of social work. And so I always worked with children. That's always been my background.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of retail in college, a little bit, but majority of my work experience is, working with children. And so my internship was at a school, and it just made sense. I was like, I really want to work in the school system. So I worked in the school system for a couple of years, mainly dealing with behavior and social emotional development.
Yeah.
And it just feels very refreshing knowing that you're giving back and you're pouring in to the next generation.
So what would you say is a big takeaway from your studies when it comes to focusing on behavior and as well as psychology when it comes to working with children? Because especially nowadays with how kids act now, not only in schools, but just in general, what would you say has been your biggest takeaway from your experience and your studies? And what is a question I want to get towards is, what is something you can say for others who are going to be listening to you today? What's a free TED talk, or what's a free advice that you can give when it comes to monitoring or identifying childlike behavior?
I would say if you see a child act out, most of the time there's a reason behind it. And what I've learned working with children is majority of the time it starts at home.
Yeah.
And, doing so many parent meetings over the years, so many times parents could kind of be in denial when you say like, hey, I have a concern because their academics are starting to decline. They're not kind to their peers. Something's not right. And so I would say there's most of the time it is something that is, happening at home as to why that child may be, acting the way that they're acting. Like, it's not necessarily, oh, it's such a bad kid. It's like, no, something may be wrong, and they're asking for help. And, children don't know how to verbalize yet how they're feeling. Mm-hmm. So instead of like verbalizing, hey, this is what's wrong with me, they're going to show it in other like behaviors. So
to you, right, in your own personal opinion, and we're not going to name drop anybody.
Oh, boy.
We can't do that. We're going to do it. Because I understand you in social work, you have certain standards and laws that you have to abide to or abide by. In what way do you think is the biggest problem for parents when issues arise about their children?
You know what I think, to be honest with you? I think that, and I'm going to answer it from an actual like situation that I had one time in the school. And obviously I'm not going to drop any names, as you said. Right. But what the child was experiencing, it was a trigger for that parent because they had experienced that same thing as a child. So sometimes it's like, parents want to protect their kids, right? That most of the time they don't want their child to experience the same negative experiences that they experienced as a child. So when you come to them and you're like, hey, they're experiencing A, B, and C, like, this is the situation. When they're in denial like that, most of the time it's like, oh my goodness, like, where did I go wrong? Like, no parent wants to feel like they're the problem or anything like that. Yeah. So sometimes it's just that trigger of like their own childhood trauma, and to see it happening to their own child, like that's very difficult, to process.
So when it gets to that point where you kind of solidified, okay, I see the problem is that this is stemming from a trigger with the parents. What happens then? Like, do you try to do like a one-on-one with them? Do you try to do like a 3-person, meet you, the child, and the parent, or do you pass it off to somebody else for them to work on that and and then hopefully if they can figure that out, they can come back to you? How does that work?
So every situation is different. Not everything is, this is the answer. So every situation is unique. So I am not a licensed therapist. So I have a very fine line of what I could say, what I could do. So, in those type of situations, I would hand that over to like the school counselor or whoever else is qualified to handle it to that level or to that degree. But for the most part, majority of those situations, it's, especially how I was trained is you put the responsibility a lot back on the parent to make sure that, they're doing their part, because the schools are going to do their part. Are there certain situations where the schools are not doing their part? Of course. Like unfortunately, that's just the world that we live in. However, in a great school, right, you're going to have the professionals there doing their part, and then you're making sure that you provide the resources and you share your insight, and the parent also has to do their part in making sure that their child is successful.
Okay. Nice. So what is your actual title when it comes to that? Do you still work in a school?
So fun fact, I need to update my bio. I need to do that. So I still work at a school. Okay. But now I work at a cosmetology school, but in a compliance department. So I don't even work with children as much as I used to anymore, right? Yeah. So now the ages are like 17 to like 40, 50 years old. And I'm not really dealing with behaviors as much. There's a few situations where, I have to use certain skills and certain trainings, but majority of my work is like making sure that the student is on track for graduation and making sure that they're in compliance with whatever the state board has enforced, for that cosmetology, school that I work at.
So what is something that you've learned back then when you was working with children that you were able to carry on into what you do now?
That's a really good question.
I try to be here.
I would say just be a good listener. I think sometimes we think solving the problem is just yapping or like giving the advice, and sometimes that's not what the person needs at that time. You just need sometimes they just need a listening ear.
Yeah.
And that's good enough for them. So, and it's a little different because they're adults, they're a little bit older. But for the most part, it's just being a good listener and just take it from there. Sometimes you ain't gotta talk. Yeah.
And I bet that's good for you. You don't have to say a word. You just
But that's the
sit there.
thing. Every situation is so different. Like, it's so tough because everything is not the same. So how I might handle this case is not how I'm going to handle this case. So it requires a lot of like discernment to know, how do I respond to this versus how do I respond to that.
Right.
Yeah.
So in a way, what would you say was a big challenge spiritually when it comes to taking on this particular field for you?
I got an answer for that. I really do, because most of the time, my answers might be a story.
I'm down for stories. I love stories.
So this is actually the reason why I did not want to be like a therapist, because I felt like I wouldn't have known like the exact boundary as far as how far I could go and how deep or how much I could share my faith. And there's definitely certain limitations with it. So for example, at my internship, my senior year of college, I had a student, and my internship was at a school, of course, it was at elementary school. And I had a student, and she had asked me, she said, does God exist? And I mean, I'm like 21 at the time. I'm being trained. I didn't even graduate yet. And based off what I knew back then, I knew that I couldn't answer it, because you can't really put your beliefs out there. You know, you can't tell your client, oh, this is what I believe. Like, you have to, there's a certain limitation with, sharing, your personal opinion and beliefs. Like, it's about that client and what's best for them. I can't just sit there and just put all my personal opinions on their life, right? And so experiencing that at that time, I'm like, hold up, like, how am I going to do this for the next 30, 40 years? Like, I can't even answer it directly.
Right.
So what I told her was, I just answered her and I said, one day you'll know the truth. She was in 4th grade. I don't know where she is in life right now.
What?
That's all I told her. I said, one day you'll know the truth.
And I know you wanted to say yes, didn't you?
I wanted to say, yes, girl, he is real. Yes, God. Yeah. I couldn't do it. I can't. So, and there's so many tricky situations that I've been in, like working, with kids where they might say something about, something I may not abide by, as a Christian, and I just gotta, smile and nod, and I've had to learn to, direct the conversation to help them process, and I just can't really be as bold in saying what I gotta say about, Christianity and things like that. So there are certain limitations.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did mention cosmetology school, and we're gonna get into that because you have a business called Deany Beauty now,
I do.
we gotta get to that. We gotta get to that. So, but real quick though, what I also wanted to know was, being that you are in social work, you say you work in the compliance department. Could be a caretaker. I'm not too sure what the actual title you have. That's not really important.
It's like student success team.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what is, in this stage that you're currently at now, after a bit of self-reflecting over your entire career up to this point, what do you have a particular testimony that has stuck with you so much that it has either influenced how you move now or has influenced you to continue doing so? I
do, actually.
Let's talk about it.
I do.
Talk to me about it.
So I was maybe 24-ish at the time. No, I was like 23, 24, around there. And I could not find a job. And so what I was doing more consistently was, like, I would go to different churches and do like panel discussions and, moderate, different discussions, with churches and, things like that. And I would, speak at a lot of like youth events, right? And I remember like the next day, because I go to church on Saturdays, right? So on Sunday, I'm at the gym and I'm with my mom at the time. And the pastor of that church that had spoke at the day before calls my mom. And my mom's like, wait, what? And I'm over here on the treadmill, like, what are they talking about? Like, what's going on? So then she gets off the phone and emotionally she says to me, hey, like the pastor of that church, wanted to let you know to keep doing what you're doing. And I'm like, okay, like I'll continue to be a light. Awesome. Like, okay, cool. Right. But he's like, no, like you have to continue. And he said that, and I've never shared this story. I don't think I've ever shared this story with anybody. So shout out to y'all. Hey. Yeah. I don't think I've ever shared this. But a youth there, she was like 16 or so at the time. She had told the pastor that she wanted to take her life that night. But after hearing me speak and after, me like moderating that program and, leading out that program, she decided not to take her life anymore.
Wow.
So that is my push. Like, I'm like, after that, I was like, well, that's it for me. Like, even if it's just one person, I'm cool. But that just resonated with me. It just pushed me in such a way that's like, you just don't know who's listening to you, who looks up to you. And so I praise God for that opportunity.
For sure. Now that's fantastic that you were able to be such an influence in that child's life. Mm-hmm. So Massachusetts, Brockton, Massachusetts. Why'd you move?
Well, the cost of living down south is a lot better. I like the weather.
Okay.
North Carolina has beautiful weather. And at that time, I was doing a lot of research, and the Triangle is booming.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's lit out here.
When did you move again?
I moved in 2021.
2021?
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities here. I also like the entrepreneur environment that the Triangle brings. So, yeah.
How you like it so far?
I love it.
Love it?
Yes.
You gonna be here for the rest of your life?
Yes. Lord willing, yes. Because when I tell you this place is lit, I think this place is underrated, personally. I think when people talk about the South, they talk about the same cities, but Raleigh area is underrated. So I highly recommend people to move over here.
Stay where y'all are.
It's getting crowded.
We overcrowded.
Yeah, the traffic is starting to pick up now.
Oh yeah, but Raleigh has been doing so much better. Mm-hmm. So much better. The progression is very telling.
Yep.
Very telling.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of business, speaking of opportunities.
Yeah.
Deany Beauty.
Yes.
Talk to me about Deany Beauty. Talk to us about Deany Beauty. So
I always loved the beauty industry. And growing up, I didn't know that the beauty industry was so broad. So, now fast forwarding, working in a beauty school, I'm like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't know that I could even apply like social work, like skills in a beauty school. Like, when you think of beauty school, you don't really think of the person in the office that's helping the student to be successful. But as far as like, the makeup and things of that nature, I always wanted to have like a lip gloss business. So it was a couple of years in the making, a lot of research, brainstorming, praying about it, trying to figure it out. And so January 2022 is when, it was like official. And then my like launch, like online store was February of 2022.
Okay. Congrats. How's that going for you?
So it's going okay.
Okay.
People think legit, like I be having people think I'm making millions. And I'm like, I am not there yet. I work a 9 to 5. Like, it's crazy. But I thank God that I'm enjoying the process. Let me answer it that way. I'm enjoying the process of like the little milestones that I hit, each time.
So you mentioned that so is your focus solely on lip gloss, or do you cover like other parts of? It's not skincare, is it?
No, it's lip gloss.
It's makeup.
Yeah.
Do you just cover lip gloss, or you cover like all other forms of makeup?
So I would say before, like maybe a couple months ago, it was definitely more like makeup brushes and things like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm more focused on lip gloss.
Why?
I've always loved lip gloss. it's always been like my favorite like makeup, as you can see. It's always been like my favorite out of all like makeup, like over eyeliner, over foundation. Like even if I walk out the house with no makeup on, I will have most likely like a clear like lip gloss on. So I just always love like lip gloss. And, you know, being, you know, I was born in 95, so I grew up with Little Mama lip gloss song. When that song came out, I mean, it was a rap at that point. So yeah, I've always loved lip gloss. Yeah.
Favorite color?
Pink.
Pink.
Yes.
Okay. What is a fun fact about lip gloss that a lot of people don't know?
That's wow, you coming through with these. I've never been asked that before. A fun fact about lip gloss. I mean, overall, lip gloss is versatile. I think that it can go with, you know what? It's versatile in a way of, I feel like with matte, which I do sell, like matte, some people say matte. I do sell matte options, but with matte, I think it's just, it don't really go with so many outfits. But with lip gloss, I think it just can go with any outfit. Just because of how it looks. So I think that's a fun fact about it.
Is there a particular tip or trick that you think people should know when it comes to picking out which lip gloss to use or which one to buy?
Yes. So our best seller is my clear lip gloss, which the shade is it's called Nadine, and my neutral colors. So you cannot go wrong with a clear and a neutral. So let's say you're not ready yet to like wear a red, like what I'm wearing the shade Island right now. Yeah. If you're not ready for that yet, you can't go wrong with a clear. You can't go wrong with a neutral. So as you're like exploring lip gloss, exploring makeup, start off with our clear, start off with our neutral colors.
Okay. So what's the end goal?
What do you mean?
What's the end goal with Deany Beauty? What's the end goal with your social work? What's the end goal for you? Are you trying to, in a way, combine both together? Do you want to get to a particular point with both of them separately? What's the end goal for you?
So it's funny you asked that question because it literally hit me like in March of this year, how it has come together. Like God has a way of just bringing things together. Like the plans that he has for you, it's like, it all just comes together. So I'm now really involved in women's ministry. And so being involved in women's ministry, it goes hand in hand with being in the beauty industry. Because I'm talking to women, I'm ministering to women, and just with my beauty business, it kind of went hand in hand in a way where I'll go to, for example, yesterday, I was a moderator at a mental health summit, right? So at our church, I wore my lip gloss there. So it was like an opportunity for me to post and be like, you know, I led at a, you know, mental health summit, and that's the shade that I wore. So it kind of, in a way, kind of came together in a way.
Kind of collaborate
like,
with each other.
In a way.
Complement each other.
Yes.
Complement. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's the word.
Because I do know that you work with the women's ministry, and in a way, it came off to me like you are encouraging other women to reveal and accept their beauty both on the inside and on the outside.
Yes.
Right. So what is a goal that you have for yourself when it comes to that particular mission statement?
I really want women to understand that you are beautiful with and without makeup. So I'm very like particular and specific on like the overall aesthetic and what my brand like looks like. So for example, at my very first brand photo shoot, I straight up told my models like, hey, you know, it's like a neutral type of vibe and nothing like too heavy, because I didn't want them to pull up to the shoe and I can't recognize them. Yeah. Like I don't like that about the beauty industry where there's certain, you know, spaces where you can't even recognize the person. So I didn't want that to be my, you know, mission statement. I wanted it to be like, you know, enhancing what God has already, you know, given you and not hiding what he has blessed you with. Yeah.
That's funny because we had another client before, and she said the exact same thing for her goal. Yeah. So it's great to see recurring themes like that.
Yeah.
For a fact.
Mm-hmm.
For a fact.
Yes.
So what would you say is knowing this is the what you want to do for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What is a short term and what is a long term?
Well, short term is still doing what I'm doing right now. It's like continue to, they kind of go hand in hand in a way. I think short term is doing what I'm doing now, right?
Right.
But then long term is like eventually I will have to leave my 9 to 5 because it's going to reach a point where it is going to be too much to just handle both. So Lord willing, it turns into a point where it's like, hey, like I'm married with kids, like, you gotta trust
God's time on that.
Yeah, it's going to be way too busy to manage all of that plus a 9 to 5. So, Lord willing, eventually the long-term goal is to transition out of, that 9 to 5.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you want to open your own shop one day? Your own store?
I've been thinking about it. I don't know yet. I've been thinking about the location, mm-hmm. preferably the Triangle area. So yeah, it's something that I'm thinking about, but we'll see.
Do you make your stuff on hand?
I have a manufacturer.
You have a manufacturer?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought of like sponsoring it or working alongside like other makeup brands to continue to push your name out?
I have thought about it. It's just that collaborating as a Christian can be a little tricky because I don't align with everything that someone may be pushing out. Okay. So if I come across like what you pushing and I'm like, it's not in alignment with my Christian values, with all due respect, like I'm not gonna collaborate with you. So it's something where I'm pretty particular with who I like collaborate with. So could you give us at least one value that has to be met? Like it's a prerequisite in order for any kind of collaboration to even be a thought of. I'm gonna be real. Real. If it comes off like mad demonic, like if it's like demonic, like Page and like things like that, I can't rock with you. Hey, yeah. It is what it is. Yeah, man. But if it's like a positive, space, you're supportive. I don't see you, putting women in a space that's like doing the most. Yeah. I don't know how else to word it at this time, but if it's like demonic vibes, I ain't rocking with you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not even just about Deany Beauty, but it's also representing or putting you in a position to where like you have everything that you've done at this point could be like in question. Yeah. It goes further than the surface that people don't really notice or think about. They don't realize it. Yeah, yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Has anyone done like a promo video for you? Promo in what way? Like make like a promo video about Deany Beauty? Yeah, I've had a few that I don't know them. Some of them have reached out to me, and others I came across like their TikTok, and I really love what they stand for. And I'm like, hey, So there's been a few that have, showed off, our product and wore it and posted it, and so yeah. That's good. Mm-hmm. You have your own TikTok page? Yeah, but I'm not consistent on my TikTok. I'm consistent on Instagram. Instagram. Is that would you say that's like your main? Yes. Okay. Yes. What other ones you have? Just that. Just Instagram? Yeah, TikTok and Instagram. You plan on expanding to other ones? I don't know yet. But at this time, I'm cool with Instagram and TikTok. All right, bad. Cool. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, that's honestly all of the main questions I had. Okay. You've been firing back at me to the point where I kind of don't have any more questions to give out. This not my first rodeo. That's big. I can tell. It ain't my first rodeo. No. You did your big one. I appreciate that. We'll get with you because we may want to do a promo video for you and Deany Beauty for sure. I appreciate that. Anytime. Yeah. So, Carldine. Yes. You ready for a fun little segment? We're gonna play a game. Okay. All right. So, what I got here is called Christian culture. Mm-hmm. And so, normally,
We're gonna have you pick a card out.
Okay.
And I like to shuffle cards. I like playing cards. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna pick out a card,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're gonna recite that card out to everybody, and you're gonna read it, and you're gonna give us your honest. We're not gonna go with that card. We're gonna give everybody. You're gonna give us your honest answer.
Okay.
And depending on how things go, we will play off of that.
Okay.
All right. Pick a card, any card.
This better be a good one.
All right. Well, you picked it out, so we're gonna find out.
Bruh.
Okay, so I normally give people a free pass. If there's not something you want to answer, we can skip it.
Yeah.
But you get one. You don't want to skip? Okay, we're gonna skip this one.
That is hilarious, yo.
I'm gonna read it too. I'm finna read it real quick.
You gonna put me on blast? Like, look what she skipped. Okay. Oh, it's a long one. All right. The parable of the talents tells of a servant who was punished for hoarding his employer's wealth instead of investing it. Matthew 25:14-30. Do you believe you are using your gifts and living your best life in this season? If yes, how? If not, what are some things you can do to make the most of this season? I'm answering this question now?
Yes, you're answering this
Okay. I would say that I'm definitely using my gifts.
Good.
Yes, I would definitely say that. Is there a follow-up to that? Like, you want me to expand on that?
Yes.
Okay.
We're talking about it.
Okay, so in what way? I guess the timing of this podcast is pretty cool because literally just the day before, which was yesterday, at our church we had a mental health summit, and so I was asked to moderate, that discussion. Like I spoke to like the panelists, and hearing like the feedback from people and how well I did, I was like, wow, like I should continue, because I've been doing it since like my early 20s. But, I thank God that, he's gifted me with that ability to, moderate, discussions and things like that. So that's one of my gifts that I'm just thinking of like off the top of my head, because I just did it recently, which was yesterday. So I just thank God that I'm able to do that.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What about anything else?
Even though I'm not working with kids Monday through Friday, I'm still using the same, trainings and gifts that I use at an elementary school and, middle school as well. Even though it's at a different type of school, I'm still using those skills of, supporting them and making sure that they're on track.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, and you don't not have to answer this one.
Okay.
It's kind of a question, but it's kind of also just, okay, I guess it's a statement. Because I know everybody's journey is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's journey is on a different wave and different type of timing. So, and I know because of that, it's very easy to get caught up in the self-comparisons and then the self-doubt. But for you specifically, I wanted to say, just keep on. Like how the pastor said, just keep on doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. What you're doing is you're becoming a footstool for people's lives in order for them to elevate. Not even just for them, but maybe somebody that other people need them in their life to get to. And for them, they need to get to a point where you have to come in. Mm-hmm. And I know in the midst of that, there could be things that's hard on you. So even though when those times come, don't worry about them, because the effects of what you're doing is going to weigh so much more than whatever the complication is coming your way. Congrats to what you do. It's very big. It's very heavy. I know it's heavy. Mm-hmm. So honestly, in my eyes, social work is probably one of the most heaviest professions a person can take on, because you're dealing with other people's lives. And it almost seems like you have like no way to even, like, what's the word? it's almost like there's no room for you to kind of back away off of that.
Yeah.
Or throw that off your shoulders for a little bit. In a way, it's like a social worker needs a social worker.
That's real.
Or because I was watching this show called it was called Private Practice, and in this one episode, the therapist, one of his clients, like I guess the story really stuck with him so much because either something that happened in his life I don't remember, but that therapist had to go see another therapist so he can get his mind back in check, so he can assist his client. Ever since that day, I was like, wow, that I don't even do this stuff, but I get it now.
Yeah.
And I see it. So seeing you and hearing your story, don't worry about the complications. Keep focusing on God's timing. And you're going to go so far.
I appreciate that. I receive that. Thank you.
No problem.
You guys too. This is a great platform you guys got going on, and like giving the opportunity for local, entrepreneurs and leaders in the community to share their story. That's a big deal. So you guys are going far as well. Everybody
got a story.
Yes.
So let's get them to talk about it.
You're right. And to build on, I guess you could say social work. So in the school setting, I was not the school social worker because of how heavy the field is. Yeah. I said I needed a role that had its balance. So I was, for a couple of years, a discipline coordinator. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't the school social worker, but I also wasn't the school counselor. So I support, the different departments. But at that time, I was like, nah, I ain't.
And you asked for that.
I'm like, there is no way. And that's the funny thing, because even though my undergrad is in social work, I didn't, throughout my career, I never got into a position where my title is the social worker. Because I was like, I need that balance because of how heavy the role is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or how heavy the field is, rather. Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever see yourself taking on the actual social worker role?
I feel like technically I am, but just in a different way, because social work is so broad.
Right.
When people think social work, all they think about is, the typical, you go into homes and you remove children and it's a very big field. And I believe that God led me into the direction of community work.
Yeah.
Specifically, mainly, obviously, in the church community. But, I definitely would love to continue to, do more collaborations. Even if it's a girls mentor group in the community. There's a few of them out here.
Yeah.
I'd love to, partner with them one day. So, it's broad. So I think that I've taken on that social work role without that title, but just in a community aspect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that's dope, too.
Yeah.
It's really cool that you already know which path God is leading you to take.
It was not an overnight thing. Because
It's definitely not.
People be thinking I had it all figured out. Nah, it was a process. You don't have time to be talking up, but nah, I didn't always know,
For sure.
Yeah.
So before we move on to the next card, I do want to know what is one of the hard-hitting struggles that you had to go through to get to where you are today?
I would definitely say finances.
Okay.
And the second thing I would say would be your circle. My circle has changed a lot. I had to go through a lot socially where, people kind of look at you and they're like, oh, who does she think she is? I've had people tell me to my face, I've had to cut some people off, unfortunately, because they weren't really feeling the direction that I was heading. And, some of it, maybe it's jealousy, I don't know, but, we just weren't in alignment.
Yeah.
With, the lifestyle they want to live versus what I want to live.
Yeah.
And it got tough because I'm like, dang,
Did you try to see if you could mend it?
I made peace, right?
Right.
It's just more so there's a common understanding hey, it is what it is. This is the path you're going, this is the path I'm going. So it was tough. But now I just turned 30 this year, and I'm grateful for the circle I have. Some of them
Happy
I have
birthday.
known. Oh, thank you. It was back in March, but
March what?
March 5th.
March 26th.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? That's funny. So yeah, like some of my friends I've known for a very long time, but there are a few people that unfortunately, like, you know, it is what it is. Like it ain't work no more. Like it ain't working. So it was hard at first. It was.
Understandable.
But yeah.
I mean, you've built connections and built bonds.
Yeah.
That will be hard to walk away from.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes people are here for a season, right?
Yes, I learned that.
And
yep.
Gotta respect and appreciate that season.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna take that card back, and what did you first pick?
You gonna put me on? I am not. Because we talk about business. That's the thing. That question is not business related.
I mean, it's not, but it is very important because you did talk about alignment.
Oh boy, see you smooth with your words.
Hey, you said them. You said them. I'm just putting it back on you. But we'll talk about that off camera.
Okay.
We'll talk about that off the record. That'll be off the record.
Bad.
Matter of fact, that's exactly why I fell. Because it wasn't meant to be a part of the episode.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Okay.
Let's do one more and see what comes up. What if it's another long one?
We'll see. Okay.
You can't skip it either.
You're funny. All right, daughters of Jerusalem, I charge you by the gazelles and by the does of the field. It says does. It's supposed to say does? Whatever. Do not arouse or awaken love. Do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. Song of Songs 3:5. What does this mean to you?
You picked the
I put
card.
the other card away. Somebody, now we talking business. We ain't talking relationships right now. That's so funny.
You picked the card.
All right, but this is a good question though.
Yeah.
What does this mean to you? So the part that really stands out to me is do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. I think it means trust the process.
Okay.
I think that a lot of times, I'm gonna come from a woman's perspective.
Yeah.
I think sometimes women be doing the most. Are there men that do the most? Yes, but we ain't talking about that right now. But from a woman's perspective, we're emotional by nature. Mm-hmm. So I think there are moments where it takes time for women to mature emotionally, where she's gonna handle herself accordingly in like a romantic relationship. And sometimes that does require understanding this text, which is do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. In other words, like you getting to know somebody, like enjoy the process. I think sometimes, especially within the Christian community, a lot of women will like try to rush it.
Yeah.
Like obviously don't be in a position where you're literally dragging it. Like I'm not saying to sit there and just, have no
hope for the best.
Yeah. Don't just drag the, but I would say like trust the process and build emotional maturity so that you're not just out here and just rushing things to the point where you're not actually getting to know the person for who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe to add on top of that, to trust the process and trust God's word about it and God's opinion. Because, his opinion is a fact.
Yeah.
So while you're waiting on that, wait on him as well.
Yeah.
And wait for him to reveal the actual truths that need to be known.
Yep. And with this is just, some people might take it as, they're getting to know somebody and you in the talking stage for 3 years. That's crazy.
Is that crazy to you?
That's crazy.
Talking stage for 3 years?
Like we grown.
You're right.
You should not be in the talk. Like if you are over the age of like 25, I'm sorry. Like there is a certain, expectations. That's like, nah, sis. Like, how you talking to homeboy and he ain't even say he wants to be with you and you 3 years in? Like, come on.
No, I
like,
feel
don't
that.
be
I feel
wasting your
that.
time. So in a way, there is a balance to it where you have to know, like, I mean, you got things to do. You have goals in life. You can't just have it, just dragging yourself. Years go by and there's no end goal. Like, marriage is not even a topic of discussion. Like, nah, like, people have things to do. Like, there's legacies that need to be built. And I think that people, like, end up in situations where they're literally dragging it for years. And it makes no sense. Like, are you going to marry the person or not? And, man, y'all be knowing pretty quickly.
We do.
Y'all be knowing quick. So...
I can't speak for every man.
I think a man that knows who he is and knows what he wants in life, for the most part, is going to know what he wants. And sometimes women are in a situation where they just allow it to drag it for too long. Both parties play a role, but
both parties for sure.
I think women don't realize how much power they really have in that relationship.
I think what it is that you get so caught up in the initial connection that you tend to find ways to excuse what you don't know yet when you feel like you should know it already.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, on one end, it's like, it's understandable because you're trying to trust the process.
Yep.
You're trying to let things happen organically or trying to happen naturally.
Yep.
At the same time, in that same notion, you know where you stand.
Yep.
So figure out if you align there or not. And that way you can have that conversation. Then you can really truly trust the process because you at least got it communicated, right? But hey, some people are not. Some people haven't got to that point yet.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could ask you, like, well, should I ask you or is this more of a statement?
You could ask.
I'm trying to think how to word it. It's one of those things where I don't think, just going based off the text, I don't know if people know how to, like, ask the right questions to know if this is someone they should be with or not.
I think that might be the case for a lot of people. Because communication is so key. To me, I think communication is really the true grounding foundation, or at least one part of the true foundation of any relationship, of any dynamic.
Yep.
So, and in a way, you may think you're asking the question, but you may not be asking it in the ways for you to really get the answer you're supposed to get. Not the answer you want, but the answer you actually need.
And to make it spicy, I'm going to go ahead and just say this straight up.
Let's go. Because
it says, do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. Like, even when you talk about sex, like in our generation, like, I'm just gonna talk about our generation. And from a Christian perspective, like, people don't realize, like, sex is extremely powerful. So a lot of times people are in a relationship, sex is involved, and it's a toxic relationship. But you're so blinded because the sex is good, and you know you're not supposed to be with this person, but the sex is good. And there's like a cycle. Like, there's so many people, like, let's just talk about our age range, that are just in these cycles over and over and over again. It's a horrible situation, and they don't know how to get out because that soul tie is there. Like, it's a very, it's deeper than what people think. So there's a reason why God's like, hey, like, it's best that you wait until marriage, because when you get to know that person, sex is not there. Like, it's so much easier to discern, and it's so much easier to pinpoint the red flags. And this is something my brothers told me. You know, I'm the youngest, right?
Right.
I have older brothers, they're twins.
Okay.
My dad, same thing, he has told me this. He was like, at the end, my mom as well came with this perspective. They're like, at the end of the day, like, sex is extremely, like, powerful. And, like, when you're getting to know someone and sex is not involved, right? And it doesn't work out, it's a lot easier to walk away. And it's a lot easier to just break up with the person because that attachment, that sexual, like, is not there. And that's why a lot of people, it's so hard for them to walk away from a horrible relationship because of sex. And so hearing my parents and my brothers put me on to that from such a young age, I'm like, that, like, it makes sense why, you know, it's easier to just walk away from a horrible situation.
I truly agree with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
I spice it up for y'all a little bit.
Hey, it's a good little sprinkle. Just a little sprinkle.
Just a little bit.
Cooking a little bit over here. I like that. All right, Carldine, this was a phenomenal time. I'm really glad that you came by to share your story, a bit of your story. Look forward to seeing what's to come of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
Great.
Professionals.
Hey, love that. Appreciate
Black
that.
excellence.
Now, there's a couple things left to do, though. The first thing I want to do is for the people who are learning about you for the very first time, and they want to know more about you, what is the best way they can get a hold of you?
So you can follow me on Instagram. I should look at this camera,
Look at that one.
Okay, cool. So you can follow me on Instagram at Deany Beauty, Deany Beauty, or you can follow me on TikTok at Deany Beauty.
Okay. And now, then this is kind of a two-parter.
Okay.
So the first one is on the social work, psychology, sociology side, and then the next one will be on the Deany Beauty side because both are you.
Yep.
So, for people who want to get to know more about those type of fields or those type of things, what would you say is the best advice you could give them at this point?
I would say ask the Lord to lead you to the right mentors.
Okay.
I have a lot of mentors that have poured into me over the years, and that have helped guided me on making like certain decisions. And then I would say do the research. Like Google's a homie. Like you gotta do your research and like dig deep. And then obviously, most importantly, like my spiritual response would be like pray about it, and God will definitely lead you to where you need to be.
Nice. You actually just answered for both of them, didn't you?
I did. Oh well, I didn't even realize I did.
You did.
I did not notice it. Okay, cool.
Cool. All right. Well, this concludes it. Again, thank you for being here. I'm Kyle Martin from Visually Speaking, and I'm also here with
Carldine.
And we're out of here.